Hello all, my name is Krish, Naik, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So guys, as you all know, recently OpenAI API have come up with so many different APIs through which you will be able to definitely solve a lot of business use cases. And even having face, right, they also have some amazing models, lot of different models, let it be with respect to computer vision, NLP, machine learning, deep learning, um, even something related to image to text or text to image. So they basically say it as a diffusion model. So all these models are probably now available, and you can definitely use it and solve most of the business use cases. And the best thing about these models is that these companies have also provided the feature of fine tuning. That basically means if you have your own custom data, you can also use that fine tune and probably create a business use case specific to your business problem statement. So when all these things are specifically there, in this video, I will be discussing about after OpenAI and Hugging Face, what will be the change in the data science project development? See, using models or integrating with the models or fine-tuning the models is just a part of the entire life cycle of the data science project that we specifically work in companies, right? So obviously these amazing libraries are there. They are actually creating this state-of-art algorithms. You have both machine learning and deep learning algorithms now. And even you'll be able to see OpenAI API, which specifically work on GPT 3.5, GPT 4, and still in the future, probably GPT 5 may also be coming up. These all are based on transformers, right? And I think you know this, and probably I've also explained this in my previous video. So let's talk about in this specific video is that now, what do you think? How does the entire project development change? Will the project development be almost same? What will be probably important as we go ahead in the future? Now, it does not mean that, guys, you should not learn machine learning, deep learning, computer vision from scratch. It is definitely required to learn it from scratch. Otherwise, you will definitely not be able to clear the interviews. In interviews, they focus on asking you questions that are basics itself, but they will try to check like what all things you specifically know, how your foundation is, right? And probably from all the experience, from all the students or from all my subscribers who have actually cracked the job interviews, what all things they have actually focused on. They try to ask you with respect to the theoretical intuition, geometrical intuition, how well you know about the algorithms, how well you can probably play with the algorithms, and many more things. Because in the future, if you go to the organization, also different organization, there also you have to specifically build product. And from this OpenAI API itself, right, so many companies have been registered recently, guys, with respect to the startups. They're solving different problem statements specifically with respect to NLP and computer vision, right? Probably now you can also create your own animated avatar, many more things. And again, prompt engineering is also there, and internally they may be using these APIs like diffusion models and all. Now, if I talk about Hugging Face, I'll just talk about the entire project lifecycle, how it will be changing, and many more things will be coming up. But if I consider with respect to this Hugging Face, okay, you'll be able to see if I just go through the models, right? Here you have feature extraction, text to image, image to text, text to video. You have computer vision like depth estimation, image classification, all these things. We are probably doing this from a lot of time. Now, all these models are like a state-of-art algorithms. Specifically, let's say if I want to use object detection, there are already so many different models which you can specifically use, like Facebook Data Resonate 101. You can just go ahead and just see the code also. Probably use this Hugging Face API, try to use this particular model, and you'll be able to see the code. And it also provides you with also fine-tuning techniques and all, right? And how things are basically done. So implementation wise, with respect to getting the accurate model, that is definitely available for you. And you can also fine-tune it and probably create that amazing efficient models through which you'll be able to get the inferencing also very much faster, right? So this problem is solved, right? But again, to do all these things, you really require the basic knowledge. Later on, you may be using the APIs to probably get that most accurate model. That is absolutely right? And these are like state-of-art algorithms. Now, considering this, if I also talk about OpenAI APIs, here also you have so many different applications, right? Probably, let's say I want to probably create a movie to emoji, right? And what is the API specifically used? What is the API like? Completion is over here that is used. What is the model that is used? Here you'll be able to see convert movie titles into emoji. So suppose a movie is given like Back to the Future, so automatically these emojis are basically coming up. So considering this also, here also you'll be able to see, right, some of the tasks. If I say text to video, for text to video, you have this gyroscope, you have this gyroscope control net, text to video, all different models are there. And probably you can also use this model if you're using Hugging Face APIs, right, with some cost, and you can also come up with a startup. But the most important thing, please listen to me very carefully, guys. The most important thing in this project development, if I probably open this chart, if I talk about project development after OpenAI and Hugging Face, when they have given their entire library, what is the development strategy? What is the life cycle of a data science project that we usually go ahead with? The first stage is obviously data ingestion, because probably you want to train with your own custom data, right? So data ingestion usually comes from different kind of database. Let's say that this is coming from some kind of data source. The data source can be database, it can be third-party APIs, it can be multiple things. I've divided this into two parts: development and deployment. Okay, just listen to me. And from this only, we will try to understand which part is going to change. Okay, probably after this OpenAI and Hugging Face capabilities is included, specifically with respect to the model. So data ingestion, again, I have to write a Python code, right? I have to focus on the end-to-end project implementation. End-to-end project implementation. This also I have to follow only, right? Now in this, data ingestion will happen. In data ingestion, what we do, we read the data from a specific data source itself, right? In the data transformation, what we do, we specifically perform some important tasks like feature engineering, cleaning the data in short, right? We definitely perform feature engineering. Now I don't want to include everything in feature engineering, like handling missing values and all. I hope you're pretty much smart, because it's now time that I don't have to repeat all those things. Feature engineering. Then we go to the next step, which is called as model trainer, right? Here, what we specifically do, whatever data transformation has basically happened, that will be our raw data for the model trainer, right? Raw data. Now here, what we used to do, let's say I want to use libraries like sklearn or TensorFlow. It may be deep learning application, or it may be, let's say over here, I'm basically going to use PyTorch. So we can probably use these libraries and train our model. This was one way. But now after OpenAI and Hugging Face is basically coming, what is going to change? This model trainer approach will be changing. Now we just require the APIs from here. The APIs from here. It can be an OpenAI API. It can be Hugging Face API. Okay, with some cost. Obviously, to build this model also, you'll require some cost. You'll require GPU cost. You'll require multiple things. But now, model as a service. See, after this OpenAI and Hugging Face has come, right? It has become model as a service. So through these APIs, you'll be able to specifically use different models based on the use case, and you can also fine tune it. This is super important. Fine tune this specific model, right? Fine tune it in a very simple way. Just fine tune it, right? Now fine tuning it, this model training task will be done. And the best thing that, and this is the main stage which is going to change. Before, you need to perform hyperparameter tuning, you need to perform each and everything, right? You need to probably train the model from the scratch, then see what is the performance metrics. But in this APIs, this all task is being done. Now I'm saying you that, then you may be thinking, Krish, then what is the use of learning machine learning deep? Guys, at least you need to know the basics. You need to clear the interview, because tomorrow you may be building this kind of models for another company, right? You may be building this kind of models for the other company who really want to create this entire big model. But the main important thing is creating this entire development cycle, the entire life cycle of a data science project. Just don't think that model training is the entire project. No, it is just the one step. Now here, instead of training from scratch, you are probably getting a state-of-art algorithms, and you are able to fine tune it. Okay. And then you probably go to the model evaluation. In the model evaluation, whatever steps you specifically use with respect to the performance metrics, everything is same. Now this becomes the development part. The entire developers will be developing this. But along with this, what all things you specifically use? You specifically use, let's say, a repository. So if I probably say over here, you use a repository to commit the code. Let's consider it as GitHub right now. Okay, there are other repositories like GitLab and all. And with this GitHub, what you try to do is that when you're committing the code, you merge the code, you do everything, right? You try to create a solution with respect to that. And after this, you try to focus a CI/CD pipeline, right? CI/CD pipeline. Why you require a CI/CD pipeline? Because it is called as continuous integration and continuous deployment. Continuous integration, because many people will be working, you need to combine this code, and probably for pushing it in the QA environment, in the prod environment, in the UAT environment, this entire process, just in a one click of button, everything should happen. So in the CI/CD pipeline, we start creating it, and that is specifically for the deployment. In the deployment, we first of all focus on the Dockers. So why do we do the Dockerization? I hope everybody knows that. I've also created entire projects from scratch. Then we focus on doing the deployment over here. And here is what is your CI/CD pipeline works. CI/CD pipelines work. Now, one example, probably you can use GitHub Actions. And with the help of GitHub Actions, you can do everything, most of the things. Now, there may be also people saying that, Krish, we need to know about some other entire life cycle of a development project. Probably you can use MLflow. So I hope everybody knows about MLflow. That part also you can use. It is not compulsory. You can use MLflow. You can use DVC. But at least start with GitHub Action and don't be in a perspective that I need to know everything. Okay? Become good at one thing and then try to learn the other thing. Okay? Because people, when you are worried at the initial stage, I have to learn each and everything, then that is bad. Don't do that. Okay? And probably after you do this, then what is the next step? Model monitoring. Again, there will be some specific tools that will be used in the case of model monitoring. Like you have in this MLflow also, you'll be able to do the model monitoring. There will be a stage over there. There is something called as Bento ML. This is also another amazing life cycle of a data science project. It helps you to handle the entire life cycle, right? So out of this entire project, what is the changes that is basically happening? Mostly in the model trainer. So here is the main change that will happen, right? Here you specifically have the main change. Okay. So at the end of the day, how much ever changes is basically going to happen in the AI or in the future. The main thing you as a developer should focus on end-to-end project development. End-to-end project development. And for end-to-end project development, the only thing that you really need to be proficient at is Python to start with. Python is must. You need to know about end-to-end project deployment. You need to know about how you can probably create this entire coding. And when I say all these stages, this is with the help of modular coding. This is super important. If you don't have modular coding, then it will not be of any use. How reusability will happen, how you probably write the code in the entire form of classes, how you reuse the code, everything. If you focus on modular development, this can be later replaced with creating a model from the scratch or probably using the APIs and then fine tuning it. All the documentation is very much available, both in Hugging Face and OpenAI APIs. And that is what I feel that is going to happen in the future. Project development will be the super important thing. Creating an end-to-end project, creating an entire application will be super important. So focus on this. And why I'm saying Python, because trust me, I don't think so it will get replaced by any other programming language. There may be Julia, there may be other programming language, right? Mostly the inferencing part will be taken with respect, most of the time will be taken with respect to the model itself. So this is what is probably going to change in the entire data science project development. So I hope you are able to understand this video, guys. Be a proficient Python developer, or at least start preparing for becoming a proficient Python developer, where you should know how to probably create an exception handling, you should know about logging, and you should probably know end-to-end project development with deployment. This is super important with deployment. Now remember, as I said, not every task needs to be done by you when you are in a company. You have to probably take up of multiple models or which models you are very strong at. And don't worry about this deployment part. I have also created a dedicated playlist where you can probably start from scratch with respect to the deployment. Let me go ahead and show you this specific playlist. So guys, now if you do not know the end-to-end project development, focusing on Python and specifically data science as suggested, all the lifecycle will be almost same, but creating this data ingestion component, data transformation component, model trainer component, at least you should do some project development, at least from scratch, to get a clear idea. And not only that, you need to know about CI/CD pipelines, let's say MLflow, GitHub Actions, and how you can probably do this deployment in both AWS, GCP, and Azure. See, in AWS also you have different services. Like you can probably do the deployment in EC2 instance. You can probably do the deployment in AWS Beanstalk. Even you can also do it in AWS SageMaker Studio. So there are multiple things which you should really focus on. And at least I believe that one end-to-end project definitely should learn and probably follow this pattern, because the same pattern are right now now used in industries, or students who have probably learned, who have understood this entire project development, they are also continuing the same process as we go ahead, right? So considering this is the entire playlist that I have actually developed for you. And here you'll be also able to see deep learning project using MLOps, DVC, all the ML flow tools are also included, right? End-to-end cell segmentation using YOLO V8. Then probably I've also given an idea about LangChain and how you can build an LLM maps. And this is all with respect to deployment. I would suggest please go ahead and have a look onto this. Again, the link will be given in the description of this particular video. So I hope you were able to understand. Don't worry, guys, with respect to the AI development that is basically happening. You are getting good state-of-the-art algorithms, which will probably require huge amount of data for probably training it. Try to utilize that, try to fine-tune that with respect to your custom data, and try to create end-to-end project. That will be super important. That will be what will be asked in the future, right? Most of the questions that are asked in the interviews are related to machine learning algorithms, deep learning algorithms, and projects, right? If you're able to explain this, you will be able to clear the jobs. So yes, this was it from my side. I hope you like this particular video. I will see you all in the next video. Have a great day. Thank you and all. Take care. Bye-bye. Have a great day.